Hey everyone out there, I want to do a video where I want to talk about this. This is me just a few days ago. Life is crazy and I want to tell about it. I want to tell about the war we are in, the attack we're in, because it's not first time I experience crazy things like this. God, He's amazing and it's so beautiful what God is doing. I see a breakthrough like never before. We are just coming out with our new book in few weeks or a month called The Call of Jesus, about bringing the church back to the life and the call Jesus has given us. We see amazing things. We had a Kickstart weekend in Texas last week where we baptized over 100 people in the end. Over 100 people got baptized. Beautiful testimony. People got healed, set free. I'm hearing testimony from all over America, testimony from all over the world, how things are growing. And I would say, if I look back at when I gave my life to Christ 20 years ago, I will never ever imagine to be able to experience and live the life I'm living. We see so much fruit all over the world. And just see our TLR map here. You can see the map here. Just see what is happening in America, for example. How many meetings there is there all over America. See what is happening in Europe. How many meetings and people are gathering. And all over the world, it is exploding. And we have amazing testimonies how God have been our provider, how God take care of us. We have amazing testimony how the Holy Spirit is leading. And in some areas, I feel like we are living the life we read about in the book of Acts. In some areas, I almost feel like we are tasting that life the early church was living, and I am very, very excited for that. All of this is out here, and it's beautiful, and we love it. But there's another side out here that is we also read about in the book of Acts. And that is the side of suffering. That is the side of persecution. That is hardship. That is pain. That is conflicts. That is spiritual war. And that side is crazy. And I just see how it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And I'm really not in control with what is happening here. I'm happy God is in control. And a few days ago, I ended up at a hospital. Crazy. And that is the second time in 1 year where I've experienced anything like this. Back last year when I came to America in January, we started a 40-day fast in April. And in the fast, God started to speak to me. And it was amazing. And God started to work in me. But at the same time, I experienced a war like I never experienced before. A fight, spiritual fight. I experienced suddenly attacks in my head. Attacks, like crazy attacks. With fear came over me. Fear of death come over me. And it just became more and more. And I said to my wife, Lena, something's happening to me. I'm in a war right now. I feel I'm getting sick. I feel I'm dying. And that attack just keep going. And in the end of that attack, I actually suddenly start to get pain in my body. Pain beside my rib here. And I couldn't breathe. And I actually ended up at a hospital. Last year, I came into the hospital, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get air out of my lungs, into my lungs. And they checked me and checked everything. And the doctor, he was nervous when he checked me last year. And he said, Torben, like, there's no air in my lungs. So he thought that I had punctured one of my lungs. And they did a lot of x-ray and things. And they said in the end that I had infection and water between my lung and my rib. And that was the reason I could not breathe. And I was sitting there at a hospital, and I'm like, no, come on, I did not come to America to die. This is crazy. I did not come to die. What is happening? And I had a meeting the day after, and I said, God, I had to go to that meeting. I need to go to that meeting. You had to fix it. And it was hard because I was praying and nothing happened. But there in the hospital at 2 o'clock in the night, something changed. And I felt better. And I went home, and I slept I think 3 hours that night. I woke up the day after and said, let's go. I'm ready to go. And I felt the pain had left me. I still have something weird in my body, but the pain was gone. And I keep going. The day after, or 2 days after, I saw the strongest healing I've ever seen. In my weakness, the stronger healing. A woman I prayed for, the hips and the muscle and the bones was not attached to the body, and the Holy Spirit came over her and healed her, and the muscle and bones came together, and we have on X-ray, and it's a beautiful, beautiful story I will come out with later when we do our next movie. And God really did a lot of things. Later I talked with a Danish doctor because I have insurance from Denmark, and he said, I don't believe there was water between your rib and the lung. It sounds crazy for me. And to be honest, I don't know what happened last year. I have no idea. One doctor say one thing, another doctor say something else. But I know what I experienced was real. It was real, and it hurts, and it was crazy. But God came through, and I experienced a breakthrough. And I experienced actually in the middle of this, God spoke to me, and it was there at the hospital. God gave me Mark 10, that everyone who have left father, mother, fields for my name's sake shall get hundredfold in this life together with eternal life. And there, the Jesus Center we now have in North Carolina was born in the hospital bed that night. I don't know if it was physical or spiritual. I think it's both. It was physical, but I also felt it was spiritual. And what happened? I experienced something similar just a few days ago. We were in Texas having an amazing kickstart. We have seen around over 100 people baptized. It started with 90 and it just grew. More and more people came the last days, and over 100 people got baptized. So beautiful stories. And I've put some of the videos up the last days. Amazing stories what God did. It was beautiful. People got set free, healed, and God did so much. He sent some very amazing people to the kickstart, new context, new relationships. And I see how Texas could easily be a place where we will have our next Jesus Center. Because God did so many things in Texas. Another thing to also have in Texas is that actually God blessed us with a motorhome. So when we drove home from Texas, we actually came home with a motorhome, ready to be more on the road, and I'll tell more about that later. And it's just a crazy story what God is doing there. So God is doing so much, but I also felt attacked. What I said at the kickstart, in the end of the kickstart, I said to everyone, guys, we have been in a war. We have been fighting the last days, and we are all tired now. And I said that at the kickstart. When you go out of this tent, it was a tent meeting, you are tired. Don't let Satan come and steal your joy and your peace. Don't let Satan come and steal what God have done these days, because we are tired and we step out, but the war is still going on. And I told a story from last time I was in Texas some years ago, where we had an amazing meeting. People said, Tom, I love you, thank you for everything you're doing. My life got changed, our life got transformed, and people were so excited about it. And I stood there and said goodbye to people, and I said, I love it. I thought I'm never going to do anything else in my life. I love doing what I'm doing there. I left the meeting, I jumped in a car. As soon as I jumped in a car, big depression came over me. It was just like a wave of depression, and I thought I'm never going to do that again. And it was so crazy because just 2-3 minutes before, I said to myself, I love it. I'm going to do this the rest of my life. And then I jumped in a car, and a deep depression came over me, and I thought I'm never going to do this again. And I announced that at a kickstart in Texas to just make people aware that we are in a war. And as soon as you start to heal the sick and cast out demons and lead people to Christ, welcome to the real world. Welcome to a war that is more crazy than anything else. And I want to say, like, we say, hey, we want to live like Paul. We want to experience the power of Paul, how the handkerchief was laying on the sick and they got healed and the demon came out, and how Paul was traveling all over the world, and how the early disciples living. Do you want to live like Paul? Do you know what Paul, he said here about himself? That I have labored more. I have been imprisoned more. I have been beaten more, often near death. 5 times I have got whipped 40 lashes minus 1. 3 times I have been beaten with rope. 1 time I have been stoned. 3 times I have suffered shipwrecked. One night I spent on open sea. In my journeys I have been in danger from rivers, in dangers from robbers, in dangers from countrymen, in danger from Gentiles, in dangers in the city, in danger in the desert, dangers in the seas, dangers amongst false brothers. But when you read this, like Paul had been in danger there. Like Paul was there one place you are not in danger. You are in the danger in the city. You are in the danger in the desert. You are in the danger in the sea. You are in the danger for false brothers. You are in the danger from the Gentiles and from the Jews. Paul, is there one place you are not in danger? And I think no, there was not one place Paul was not in danger. And then beside this, he talked about the church and how he really feel for the church and have sleepless night because of the church and all that. This is Paul's life, Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 11, where he talk about that. I love my life. I think it's beautiful. I love what God is doing. But it's crazy. It is crazy. I've never experienced so much attack. And it's actually, I had a time in Denmark where I experienced the same with the hospital cell, and I experienced it just a few days ago. That is the third time where crazy things happened to me. We went from the kickstart in Texas. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We jumped in the car and drove in our motorhome and with the car home to North Carolina. On the way home, different things happened. Attacks started to come in from different people already while we are there. And we experienced attack before we started the meeting, and people sent threats to us, and we were in danger with different things according to their word, and they would try to come after us. But it's not only that; it's also spiritual attack and physical attack. And I have not been stoned. That is correct. I have not been whipped with ropes. That is correct. But it don't mean that the fight and war we are in is not as real, and there's just another way it comes. Here we jump in a car, we went home, we stopped at Cracker Barrel on the way home to take some food. We went in to take some food. As soon as I came in to take some food, I just felt like, I just ordered the food, but pain just came. Pain in my stomach, pain just came, and I was like, what is happening? I walked around and I was walking outside and praying, and they have ordered the food, and I came in again and said to Lene, my wife, Lene, I just had so much pain. And she prayed, and they prayed for me, and I went out again. And suddenly it just came more and more, and I was like, this is crazy, this is spiritual. This is more than I've never ever experienced anything before. And I went into a Cracker Barrel, and I stood there and suddenly the pain just come, and I almost fainted. I was walking around, I almost threw things down because I almost fainted over some of the things they had there in the shop. And I was like, something is off, something off. There was a policeman in the Cracker Barrel who looked at me, and he came to me and he said, shall I call somebody? And I like, yes, call somebody. Like, something is weird. I get Lene out. He called the fire ambulance and all of that, and my wife came up, and some of our friends came, and they looked hands and prayed for me, but it just didn't go away. And I came outside, and a few minutes later, the fire department, the ambulance came, and I had so much pain, and I was trying to tried to sit me down. I couldn't sit down. I just like, something is off. And the doctor asked how much my pain was from 1 to 10, and I say it was 10. I never experienced anything like this before. Then my daughters came out, and they did not know everything was going on because we had just ordered the food, and they came out, and next time they saw me, I was laying on a bed being put in the ambulance. And I was lost, like, what is happening here? And then, babu, or what we say, on the way to the hospital. And I was like, God, this is the third time. The second time in 1 year, the third time in maybe 8 years. And last time, it was just before breakthrough, I experienced it. And I came to the hospital, and they checked everything. They took the ultrasound thing to see, and I couldn't stop asking, is it a boy or a girl? Because the ultrasound, it was like what I saw with my wife, and they checked everything, and you can see here, I'm laying, I have so much with me, and it was just crazy. And I was laying there at the hospital with pain and pain and pain. It started to go away a little. And they checked everything. They said maybe it was my liver. Maybe it was my, I don't know the English word, sorry, my gallbladder, something bladder. Maybe they want to remove that, and there was something wrong with my liver and all of that. And I'm like, come on. It's spiritual. It's just spiritual. It's physical, but it's also spiritual. And yes, there was something acid in my stomach, maybe, or something. And I started to get better and better. And I was praying like, God, you are faithful. You have done it before, and you are going to do it again. And something changed at the hospital one more time. And I went home a few hours later. And I am better. I'm much better. I still feel something is off with my body. It was funny because on the way home we needed some medicine, so I went to Walgreens in the middle of the night to get our medicine. And we were waiting. I have so much pain. I'm walking around. I almost couldn't walk, and I just felt something was off with my body. And I was walking around praying, and then I hit me. Walgreens. That is where you get pictures, photos. And I took this picture at the hospital. So I actually, while we were waiting for my medicine in the middle of the night, I framed in this picture. For two reasons. One thing, I need to live more healthy. I know that. And the next day, I gave this to my wife and my children as a reminder, say, hey, I have a gift for you. And they opened this. And I want them to have it, so next time they see me open the fridge and take a Dr. Pepper and a Coke, and the thing is too much, they say, Torben, look at the picture. Reminder of living healthy. Because I know I've been too busy. I know I've been not living healthy. And when we do a kickstart like this, we are working 100%. We are working. I give all the things I can do into every person I talk with. I keep going. I don't listen to my body because I'm there to serve those people. And I just give everything to everyone. And I know it means so much for them in that life. And I'd rather give 10 minutes more and pray and talk with them than listen to how tired I am. So that is one reminder. And I know I need to take care of my body. But it's also another reminder. When I see this, it's a reminder that we are in a war. It's a reminder that it don't always go the way we want it to go. But God is faithful. God is faithful. And I want to say, you who are serving God, you who live with Christ, we believe in healing, we believe in deliverance, we believe that God is faithful. But it's not just like this. We will go through many trials. We will go through many wars. We will go through many attacks. And that is what I hate, sorry to use the word hate, with the prosperity teaching we see nowadays. I believe in healing. I believe Jesus paid the price on the cross. I believe in deliverance. I believe God is for me. Who can be against me? But He have not promised us an easy life without persecution, without suffering, without pain, without tears. I have cried more as a believer than I did before I met God. I have lost more friends as a believer. I've experienced more pain, and it's terrible hard sometimes. And we go through wars. But I also know that the testimony we end up with is that through all of this, God is faithful. He is faithful. We go through it, we feel in our body, we feel attack. And I think this was physical, but also maybe because I was living unhealthy, but it's also spiritual. It is spiritual. And I think sometimes the physical and spiritual go hand in hand. It's spiritual. And we are in a war. And I can tell other crazy things we have experienced the last year. Things you will not believe if I told you. And that's why I will save it for another time. Please pray for us. Please pray for me. Please pray for my family. Every time we do a kickstart, we get threat on our life. People send death threats to us. Every time we do kickstart, those who set up the event, people send threats to them. Every time we are out, we experience persecution. We have experienced attacks. We have experienced people being sent against us. We have experienced spiritual fights. We have experienced spiritual wars like we have never experienced before. Why? Because we see fruit like we have never experienced before. We see transformation as we never experienced before. We see life changed like never before. And we know Satan hates us. So I ask you who are intercessors out there, I ask you who are praying out there, please pray for us. Pray for the co-workers here. Pray for the Jesus Center. Pray for people who work with the leadership in the last Reformation. Pray for us. We need prayer. We really feel that with the last Reformation, we are seeing a movement like never before. We really see with the last Reformation, we are transforming life like never before. I've never dreamt about we will see so much fruit as we are seeing these days. But this comes together with crazy things that I've never experienced war like this before. So please pray for us. The next Kickstart we have already next weekend in Myrtle Beach, here in South Carolina actually. We are setting up a Kickstart in Philadelphia that will come in April. We are setting up a Kickstart in Florida in June. We have another Kickstart in South Carolina, maybe we are working on also in March. So a lot of things are happening right now. This Luke 10 school we have now, the next Luke 10 school is start in 2 days. It's full. We have put up a next extra Luke 10 school or PTA school in June and July. It's almost full already. So if you're thinking of signing in, don't wait too long. It's almost full. We are seeing fruit and we are seeing persecution. So thank you for your prayer. I know this is a longer video. And I want to say I'm not the only one who goes through this. So when you experience crazy attacks, when you experience life get crazy, and you think, oh, what is wrong with me? Don't think that. Think what is right with me. I'm doing something good. We have an enemy who hates us. Read what Paul experienced in 2 Corinthians 11. We will experience the same. Maybe look a little different, but it's as real what we experience as what Paul experienced. The persecution is real. It can look different from time to time, from country to country, from place to place, but it's real. Persecution, suffering, hardship goes together with following Christ. And that's why I don't believe in the prosperity teaching that say, hey, it's always like this, always like this, and you will never suffer, you always be happy. No, we rejoice in the Lord always. But it's not because of what we go through, it's because of Christ in us. God bless you. Please pray for us. Life is crazy sometimes, and I'm better now. I feel better now. Something is maybe still moving around in my body. Spiritual attack, but I'm on the way out of it. God is faithful and we love this life. God bless you many times. Have a good day. Bye-bye.